we're going to work on scalar multiplication, which is really just you're multiplying some number by a matrix. So we'll go through each individual part of it. It's really not as complicated as it might first appear. So the big thing is whatever our first matrix is, that's going to be our ending matrix as well for our answer. That won't really change, okay? Alright, so let's look at this one here. I've got a 2 by 3 matrix, two rows, 3 columns. So I'm going to end up with a 2 by 3 matrix here. So let's go through each one of them individually, and basically this number on the outside we're going to multiply it by everything on the inside, but one at a time. So I'm going to go 6 times negative 2, and it's multiplication. This is 6 times this whole quantity. So 6 times negative 2 would give me negative 12. Now this negative 2 is found in the upper left-hand corner, so I'm going to write my answer in the upper left-hand corner. 6 times negative 2 gives me negative 12, and I'll write it right there. 6 times 10, 10 is located right here in the center, upper center, the top of the center. So I'm going to write my answer right here in the top center. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 5 yields me 30. That's in the upper right. I'm going to write my answer right here in the upper right. Now we'll switch to the bottom now. 6 times 1, and that's in the lower left. So in the lower left, I'm going to write here. 6 times 1 is 6. I'm going to write my answer right here. 6 times 0 is 0, and that's in the bottom center. So I'm going to write my answer right here in the bottom center. 6 times 0 is 0. And 6 times negative 7 is going to be negative 42. So I'll write my answer right here. This is in the bottom right, so I'll keep my answer here in the bottom right. And this will be your final answer here. And this could be some sort of real-life solutions if you're trying to determine the cost of each item. In this 6, you're going to buy 6 of each of those items, and then you can figure out what the final cost is for each item here. But realistically, when you're doing your math here, you're just going to leave it alone, just as numbers. Your final product will be one single matrix, though. And let's look at one that's similar here. The only difference with this one is it's a negative 2. Okay, same rules apply, same things that we're going to do on the first one we're going to do on this one. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. That's in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to write my answer right here in the upper left-hand corner. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, and that's in the center top. So in the center top right here, I'm going to write my answer. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 2 times negative 3 would be a positive 6. This negative 3 is in the upper right-hand corner, so I'm going to write my answer right here in the upper right-hand corner. Negative 2 times negative 2 would be a positive 4. I'll write that in the bottom left. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. I'll write that in the center bottom because my 1 was found in the center bottom. And then negative 2 times negative 1 would be a positive 2. I'll write that in the bottom right because my negative 1 was here in my bottom right. Those will be my final answer on this one and this one both. And the big thing is just making sure that you multiply each one of their components and keep them in their proper area. If it's in the top left, you'll keep it in the top left.